What's up, New York Mets fans? The Bat Fry, Kenny Fry here, letting you know coming up on the Bat Cave, we'll be talking this past week in New York Mets baseball. We'll be talking injury news and the imminent return of J.D. Martinez. We'll talk that and much, much more coming up in about a minute. So don't go anywhere. Good morning, New York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry. And you know what day it is, everybody. It's Hump Day! Whoop, whoop. Yes, sir, Hump Day. Gotta love it. All right, got a comment here kicking it off from our boy, Adam the Answer, commenting on good old YouTube there, saying, "What's up? What's up, Adam?" Adam's on the Atomic Drop podcast with us on Saturday nights, 10 p.m. He's on not every weekend, but you know he'll be on quite a few weekends moving forward. So look forward to doing the Atomic Drop podcast with Adam, talking WWE wrestling. And we got Eileen checking in. She's saying, Hump Day. Yes, it is, Eileen. It's Hump Day. Absolutely. I hope everybody's doing well out there. So before I get a kick started here with the New York Mets talk, this past week in Mets, I just want to throw out there a bit of breaking news. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. I don't know if it's important or not. It depends on who you are. But Reggie Bush has been reinstated as the Heisman Trophy winner from, was it 05 or 06, whatever it was, the year that he won it. And they're going to give him his trophy back. I can't believe they actually took the trophy from him. I can't believe he handed the trophy over, to be honest with you. You know, they'd be knocking at my door. I'd be like peeking through the curtains. You know, they'd be like, I see you in there moving around, Fry. Answer the door. He won our trophy back. And I'd be yelling back, nobody's home. Wrong house. Stuff like that. So yeah, they'd never get it back off of me. I don't know how they got it. You know, did he turn it over willingly? Did they send the FBI or some hired goons to his house to get that trophy back? And these are answers that I want questions that I want answered. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, so he got reinstated as your Heisman Trophy winner back in 05 or 06, whatever year that was, and he gets his trophy back. I mean, so people seen it happen. People seen him win the Heisman Trophy. All right. I mean, when the NCAA does something like that, when they take away national championships or they take away wins off of a coach or a program, people seen it. The wins are there. You know, whether or not they take it away out of the record books, nobody cares. You know, they know that Reggie Bush was the Heisman winner from then. People seen it. There was a whole ESPN broadcast on it. You know, they have everybody in their little suits and ties, and the finalists there and past winners there, and talking to the finalists and stuff, interviewing them. Everybody's seen it. People watch that program, so it's common knowledge that Reggie Bush did win the Heisman Trophy. Whether or not they strip it from him for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. He was still the Heisman Trophy winner, even when they said he wasn't. Like I said, I'm just surprised that they had the trophy. And hopefully they didn't hopefully they had it in a good, safe place. They didn't get it nicked up or scratched or anything like that. It's going back to in the same condition that they took it back from him. And, that suck. Reggie Bush, you get your Heisman Trophy back and he's missing a hand or an arm or something like that. Instead of, this, you just have him holding a football because your arm's gone. That'd be terrible. Or they glued it back. They tried gluing it back on, like a couple of kids that were wrestling in the living room that knocked mom's face over or something, and they're trying gluing it back together or taping it. Freaking Scotch tape on the Heisman Trophy, trying to hold the arm back. Jesus, what's the NCAA doing? Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm moving on to some Mets talk. That's what we're here for, right? We're here for some baseball talk, some New York Mets talk. And if you're out there, YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, throw your comments out, questions, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, Mets related or not. I'll read them. As long as they're not derogatory, racist, more than likely read every minute. I've even read ones, where I guess it's spam. So people, my internet's going in and out here, so hopefully I'm on right now. I don't know. I haven't had a problem with internet in a while, but anyway, getting back to what I was saying. I've had comments come through where it'd be like, hey there, good looking. If you contact me at this site, we can be friends or whatever. It's like on the comments, like, where is this coming from? I've even posted that a couple times, and I read it. I'm like, wait a second, this is spam. So it even happens to out of the box. Eddie Prather checking in. What's up, Eddie? How you doing? Eddie, you can check Eddie out also on Saturday nights, the Atomic Drop podcast with us talking WWE wrestling. Thanks for checking the show out, Eddie. Thank you for commenting. All right, let's kick it off. Mets sweep the Pirates. All right, that seems so long ago already, but when you do a show from Wednesday to Wednesday, I want to try to cover all the games that were in between those days. And I believe it was last Wednesday when the Mets swept the Pirates. Great series for the Mets. And I talked about this last Wednesday. The Mets won a couple series in a row last week when I was talking about it, but I felt like their offense was still inconsistent. Their starting pitching was pitching decent, okay to decent. They weren't going deep into games, which is pretty much today's baseball anyway. But going 5 innings, kind of lumbering through 5 innings, but still keeping the runs off the and shutting it. All right. So I guess it looks like there's actually some storms rolling through anyway. Now that I look out the window, hopefully I'm on right now. If I'm not on, if I'm frozen, say something. But as I look out the window, the sun is not out, and there is some pretty dark clouds rolling through. So hopefully I can make it through here without freezing too much. But yeah, I haven't had a problem with internet in a while, and it is getting pretty dark out there, so it looks like we might get a doozy coming through here. All right, well, anyway, Eddie says the last couple of days hasn't been kind to the Mets. No, and you know what, Eddie? That's part of baseball. It's a long season, 162 games. You have your ebbs and your flows, whether you're the best team in baseball or the worst team in baseball. You're going to hit a point in your season where you play well. You win some games in a row. You win some series in a row. And then you're going to hit some points where you don't play well. You lose a couple games in a row. You lose a couple series in a row. It's just what happens. And it's how you rebound, how you're able to stop the bleeding. When you're bleeding, when the losing's there, how do you stop it? How soon can you stop it? We all remember June last year as Mets fans. They could not stop the bleeding until July. So that's how bad June was. June was very bad. So anyway, back to the Mets versus Pirates. So the offense, even through that series, through the series sweep, the offense was kind of sporadic. You'd have one part of your lineup hitting, the other part of your lineup going over. Then it would kind of flip flop. The bottom part of the lineup's hitting, the top part of the lineup isn't hitting. But the consistent part has been the bullpen, and the starting pitching hasn't been terrible. At least all of them anyway. I'd say more than half of our starting pitchers have been pretty decent. And Adrian Hauser hasn't. There, I said it. All right, I said it. Adrian Hauser hasn't. Okay, there. It's out. The cat is out of the bag now. But looking back at that series, looking at some stats for some guys that what our hitters did through that series. Brandon Nimmo was 2 for 14, 3 RBIs. It's not great. You know, the RBI will take the RBI, but 2 for 14, that's rough. Starling Marte, 3 for 14, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and a home run. He came up clutch, actually, even though he was 3 for 14. He did have some big hits in the game in that series. Francisco Lindor, 3 for 11, 3 runs, 2 walks, getting on base. Pete Alonso, 2 for 10, 3 runs, 2 walks. We need more out of him as well. Brett Baty, 1 for 5. Brett Baty got hurt, if you remember last week. I was talking about that as well. Brett Baty, it was tightness in his hamstring. Wasn't sure how long he was going to be out. It was a day-to-day thing. I'll get back to that in a minute. Francisco Alvarez was 1 for 9, run, 2 RBI, 2 walks. You can see he started off nice and hot in the beginning of the season when the Mets were losing. And the Mets start winning, and he wasn't really hitting consistently anymore, but playing stellar defense, really good defense. Wasn't throwing anybody out, but I'd say a good portion of that wasn't on him. And a lot of that's on the starting pitching, not with their inability to hold runners on, even the bullpen as well. It's such a struggle, and it's been a struggle for a couple seasons for the Mets now. Jeff McNeil, 2 for 10, 2 runs, an RBI. DJ Stewart, he was 1 for 1 run, RBI, a walk, and Tyrone Taylor, 4 for 6, run, 2 RBI. Harrison Bader, 2 for 9, run, 2 RBI, a home run, a walk. Looking at some pitchers, some starting pitching. Adrian Hauser, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 walks, 5 Ks. A lot of walks from him. Jose Quintana, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Again, that's too many walks. And Luis Severino, still pitching very good. He won his game 2-1. He won his game. He's now 2-1. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, 0 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. So pitch count's high for the starting pitchers, not getting deep in the game. Even though Severino did go 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, that is a quality start, but still 3 walks. It's a little high. Not crazy high, but still a little high. So yeah, it was. I think that was our 4th series in a row, won, and that would be a 4-game winning streak at that point for the Mets. Again, then before we move on to the Dodgers, so the Mets move on to the Dodgers. They take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. Kind of surprising to me. I thought they would have went out west and laid an egg, but going up to the Dodgers, taking 2 of 3, taking the first 2 actually, and losing that 3rd game in spectacular fashion. So we'll go ahead and we'll go through that. So game 1 against the Dodgers, Mets win 9-4. They jumped all over Yoshinobu Yamamoto, which was fantastic to see. We all know about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Basically signing with the Dodgers for the same exact contract, the Mets offered him first. So it's almost like he took the Mets contract and took it out west and say, here you go, Dodgers, I'll play for this. That's kind of what it feels like. So I really wanted to beat him, and he hasn't started his season off well. And if you remember when Senga started last season, he really struggled as well. So I do expect Yamamoto to find it, find himself, and it's probably going to be coming up. Probably it seemed like Senga turned his season around last year around June when the Mets were losing. Senga was playing well. I think it was around late May or early June. And the rest of the season he was outstanding. Again, I'm losing internet here, so if I'm kind of in and out, just bear with me. I see a lot of blue sky, but I see one big dark cloud over top. Son of a gun. Anyway, so moving on with that. They jump all over Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He had 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk. He did have 9 strikeouts. I did have some really good stuff, but the Mets hit him, and they hit him hard. So looking throughout the game here, DJ Stewart had a solo homer in the 2nd inning. It's his 3rd of the season. Harrison Bader knocked in Alvarez in the 2nd. That was 2-0. It was 2-0 Mets after 2 innings. Alonso singled to right, bringing in Brandon Nimmo in the third. And then also DJ Stewart had a sac fly, knocking in Starling Marte. That made it 4-0 after 3. So they jumped on him. They jumped on him early. He kind of settled down a little bit through the 4th, 5th, and the 6th innings. Then Teoscar Hernandez and Shohei Ohtani, they had an RBI in the 4th and 5th innings. They made it 4-2, kind of cut the Mets lead in half. Sean Manaea, he started the game. He went 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 85 pitches. He did good. He did good against those big bats. Your Mookie Betts, your Shohei Ohtani, your Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez. Kind of tiptoed around them. Didn't really let them hurt him too much. Like I said, Hernandez and Ohtani had RBIs in the 4th and 5th inning. That kind of chased Manaea out of the game. Then after 5 innings pitched, then Chris Taylor comes up for the Dodgers. He knocks in 2 in the 6th inning, so that takes the win away. Any chance of it takes the decision away from Sean Manaea. That ties the game up at 4, and you just felt all momentum. You kind of felt the Mets have lost all momentum, and you know what, they stuck to it. They kept fighting. They kept fighting. They were able to bust the game open. So after a couple of errors, actually I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here. The internet has me all goofed up. When the Dodgers tied the game up, it was all led through a couple of errors. Joey Wendell was playing third base, and like I said before, was it third base or no? Yeah, it was third base. Like I said before, with Brett Baty being hurt, they decided to start Wendell at third. And he booted a couple balls, and that was just it. That was, I think it was Reed Garrett was pitching, and then he started struggling. He had a hard time finding the strike zone, and I think he hit a batter, loaded the bases up. That's when they got the 2 runs in from Chris Taylor. Yeah, he knocked 2 in, but then Garrett was able to settle down and get out of the inning, without any more damage. But that tied the game up 4-4. And Joey Wendell just, he's probably like that. This is what he was brought in for. He's brought in as a utility defensive kind of replacement kind of guy. One of the things that we did this past season, Stearns did this past off season, was bring guys in to help with our defense. And I think it was what's it called? It's it's like defensive runs placement or something. Whatever it is, he brought the defense in to knock runs off the board. And here's Joey Wendell, one of those guys that you bring in for a stellar defense, be a utility guy. Come in, start some games, give some guys some breaks, and just boots the ball everywhere. And was it defense above? It doesn't matter what the hell it is. It doesn't matter. Watching me struggle through this here. So they go to the 7th inning, all tied up, 4-4. Francisco Lindor comes up and hits an absolute 2-run bomb as he crushed it. No doubter. Happy for him. I think that was from the left side of the plate. I think so. I think he was batting lefty. I think that's his first home run as a lefty this season. He's really been struggling the left side of the plate. It's the 2nd home run overall. That made it 6-4 Mets. The Marte, he knocked in a pair in the 8th inning. That made it 8-4. And then DJ Stewart knocks in one more with I think it was a single. That made it 9-4 in the 9th inning. So that's your final score. Great job by the Mets. They get out to that big lead early on against the Dodgers, 4-0. Squandered away. It's easy to kind of fold up shop and pack it in, say, all right, Dodgers have all the momentum here. But no, the bullpen was able to shut it down. Gather themselves. Reed Garrett, give them all the credit. Those 2 errors, would have gotten him out of the inning, no problem. The 2 errors got a couple guys on. I think he hit a batter. loads the bases up, gives up a hit. Had a hard time locating the ball, but he battled back, battled through it, and was able to get out of the inning after giving up those 2 runs, without giving up any more. So I think that was huge. And the rest of the way, the bullpen was able to shut it down. So looking at some stats from the game, Starling Marte is 2 for 5, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, stolen base. Francisco Lindor was 2 for 5, 2 runs, 2 RBI. He had that 2-run shot. He also had a stolen base. DJ Stewart was 2 for 4, a run, 3 RBI, and a home run. Yeah. And Harrison Bader was 4 for 5. Yeah, he was actually 4 for 4 at one point. He came up in, I think it was the 9th inning. And I want to say runners were on. And he ended up getting out. It would have been nice to see a 5 for 5, but 4 for 5 is pretty good too. 1 run, 1 RBI, and he also had a stolen base. Like I said, Reed Garrett, he gets the win, 3-0. He had 1 inning pitch, 2 run, no earned runs, 1 strikeout, 33 pitches, 1 hit batter. Brooks Raleigh comes in, 2/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Adam Ottavino came in. He pitched an inning and a third, 2 strikeouts. And then Jake Diekman came in to close her out, 1 inning pitch, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So nice win for the Mets. Nice way to start off the series out there in La La Land. They come back the next day, and they beat the Dodgers again, 6-4. That's a 6-game win streak. Now that's 5 series in a row that they would have won at that point. Mets are on a roll. Mets are on a roll, and everything's looking good in the old blue and orange. So in this game here, Lindor, he starts it off with a ground rule double. I believe it was to right. I think it was to right field over the short wall there at Chavez Ravine. He brought in Nimmo with that double. Freddie Freeman answered back. The Met killer himself. Has been doing it since his days in Atlanta. So he ties it up. Then Marte comes up. He breaks the tie up in the 4th inning. It was 1-1 going into the 4th. He breaks the tie up with an RBI single. He knocked in Joey Wendell. Max Muncy hits a sac fly. That ties it back up at 2 in the 5th inning. And then Starling Marte hit a 3-run blast in the 6th inning, and that was a bomb also. He and Lindor back-to-back days just hitting absolute bombs. They crushed it. That was in the 6th inning. He knocked in on base was Zach Short and Brandon Nimmo. That made a 5-2 Mets. And Freeman came up again. He had a 2-run single in the 6th inning, made a 5-4. And then Lindor, he made it 6-4 in the 8th inning, knocking in Starling Marte. So that's your 6-4 win there. A big point in this game, Edwin Diaz came in the 8th inning, actually. Edwin Diaz came in the 8th with a runner on. I don't know if the runner was on first. It doesn't matter what the runner was on. But he ends up walking the next 2 guys who were, let me think here. So it would have been, he walked, was it Ohtani and Freeman? I think their lineup went Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, Teoscar, and Max Muncy, I think. But anyway, he walked 2 batters. He ended up, bases loaded. I think there was 1 out, and he, like I said, walked 2 batters, so he's looking kind of wild. But no, strikes out Teoscar, strikes out Max Muncy, gets out of the inning. Huge inning for Edwin Diaz. We weren't sure if he's going to come back out for the 9th. He didn't. They ended up bringing out who'd they bring out? Was it Reed Garrett? Yeah, Reed Garrett. They brought Reed Garrett out to get the save and sat Edwin Diaz down. So in this game, some stats. Nimmo, he had 2 walks and 2 runs scored. Starling Marte was 2 for 5, 2 runs, 4 RBI and a home run. Francisco Lindor hitting much better, 2 for 5, 2 RBI. DJ Stewart, 3 walks. So he's getting on base, which is excellent. Jeff McNeil was 2 for 4 with a walk. Pitching wise, Jose Butto was your starter, and he threw a lot of pitches. Early, a lot of walks, and you can't really blame him. You want to pitch that beginning of that lineup, which is kind of scary to look at. Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy. You want to pitch those guys really careful. And so he was walking a lot of guys, throwing a lot of pitches, walking them. Whether it was Betts, I'm not sure how many times Mookie walked that game. I don't know. I think Shohei, he might have walked once. I think Freddie. I don't know if Freddie walked at all. But yeah, it's a lot of pitches, a lot of walks for Jose Butto. But he kept the runs down as much as possible with all the traffic on the bases. He pitched only 4 1/3 innings. He got into the 5th inning. Only gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 5 walks. So like I said, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, 95 pitches. I think in the first 2 innings, he had 5 walks and 5 strikeouts. I think that's what it was, which is crazy to think about. 95 pitches in 4 1/3 innings pitched. That's a lot of pitches in a short amount of time. Tonkin came in. He got the win. He was 1-2 at that time. 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. Drew Smith came in. 2/3 of an innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, a K. Then Jorge Lopez came in an inning and a third. 1 hit, 1 walk. Edwin Diaz came in for those 2/3 of an inning. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And Reed Garrett gets your save. 1 inning pitch, 3 strikeouts. Nice bounce back game for Reed Garrett from the game before, where he struggled a little bit after those errors by Joey Wendell. So yes, like I said, Jose Butto struggled a little bit. I was able to keep them, from putting too many runs up. A lot of runners on the base paths. A lot of high tension pitches. A lot of stress. High stress pitches. That's what I meant to say. So he was able to work through it. A great job by Jose Butto. So I still have a lot of hope, that the Mets add him to the rotation. He's just not like a spot starter. Obviously, right now he appears to be in the rotation with Tyler McGill out and stuff. I got a comment here from Adam the Answer. He says the Mets are playing good. The whole division is playing good. Mets are 3rd place. Yeah, I'll do the standings coming up here after I get through all the games from this past week. But yeah, almost the whole division is playing good. I know the Marlins are in the basement. They're not looking so good right now, but it's early in the season yet, really early in the season yet. So we come to the final game of the 3-game set with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers beat the snot out of the Mets, snapped their 6-game win streak, 10-0. So not a whole lot to talk about this game. I'll just read over a couple how the runs were scored. Ohtani had a home run, a very hard hit home run. It was a blast. Mookie Betts had an RBI. Freddie Freeman had an RBI. Smith had 2 RBIs. Pages had a 2-run home run. He had a pretty decent series. I know they're really high on him, but offensively didn't do a whole lot until that last game. But defensively, the Mets showed a lot of respect to his, for his arm. They didn't test him too much, and there's a couple of times where he thought they might have, and they were held up at third, just because the scouting report tells them the dude has a super strong arm. And I know many times watching those games, I think it was the SNY guys kept commenting on how he has light tower power. Meaning the dude can smash the ball, just hasn't shown it yet. So it's overall not a bad series for Pages for the Dodgers, but offensively, we'll see if he gets it going. I'm curious to see how much power he has. I want to see if he's going to be a big bopper. That just make the Dodgers even scarier. So it was 10-0 in the 5th inning. Tyler Glasnow was absolutely dominant. Shut us down. He was able to scatter 7 hits throughout the game. Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, DJ Stewart, Jeff McNeil, Harrison Bader, and Tomas Nido. They all had hits. See, they scattered them. Adrian Hauser for the Mets, 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 8 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, 81 pitches. He didn't look good at all. He got hit, and he got hit hard and hit a lot. Grant Harwig, who was just called up recently, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Then Michael Tonkin, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And he those two guys there, they saved that. They actually saved the bullpen. Being able to go two innings each to get through the rest of the game, because the bullpen's overworked, it's overused, and our pitchers can't go past 5 innings normally. So it's good for the rest of those bullpen guys to get a little bit of a rest. So Mets take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. We still have our 5 series in a row, our series win streak, 5 in a row, and then we take that up the coast to San Francisco and take on the San Francisco Giants for a 3-game set. So we go into game 1. Mets lose that 5-2 to the Giants. So looking at how they were scored, Ahmed scored, had a 2-run infield single. I think that's the one where Jeff McNeil, it was kind of hit in between McNeil and Lindor. A little bit of confusion there, it seemed like. McNeil kicked it or stepped on it or whatever. I guess when you say he booted it, he actually booted the damn ball. And that caused a couple runs to come in. So that was a 2-run single, and it was 2-0 after 2. Chapman came up. He had a double, 2-run double, made a 4-0 after 3. Pete Alonso comes up, hits a laser to left, a solo shot for him. That made a 4-1 after 5. Michael Conforto, I'm a huge Conforto fan. I really like Michael Conforto. I was hoping the Mets would have signed him last season when he was a free agent. They did not. He went to the Giants last year. I think it was a 1-year deal, and then they re-signed him again, I think, or maybe it was a 1 year with a player option for a second. I don't know. But he's still there in San Francisco. But he answers with a home run, made a 5-1. He had a big series so far. That made a 5-1. Nimmo scored in the 9th on a wild pitch. That made a 5-2. And that was pretty much it. Keaton Winn, he was a starter for the Giants. He shut the Mets down. He did a hell of a job. Starling Marte was 2 for 4 with a stolen base. He's been fantastic so far this season. A healthy Starling Marte. He's a good Starling Marte. Pete Alonso was 2 for 4 run RBI off his home run. Jose Quintana was your starter. He struggled with his command. He takes the loss. He's now 1-2. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, 91 pitches. Just really had a hard time locating. I didn't watch this game. I was listening to it for the most part for the first few innings. And just had a hard time locating. It seemed like he was all over the zone and really rising that, causing that pitch count to rise. Jorge Lopez comes in for an inning pitch, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Sean Reed Foley, who was just called up, he goes 1 inning pitch, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And also Josh Walker, who was recently called up, he went 1 inning with a strikeout. So the Mets lose back-to-back games now after winning 6 in a row. They go into last night against the Giants and hoping to get back in their winning ways, and it doesn't happen. They lose to the Giants 5-1. That's 3 losses in a row now. That snaps our series win streak. Snaps it at 5. So that's a bummer. Estrada and Yastrzemski had RBIs in the 5th. That made it 3-0. I think Yastrzemski had 2 RBI. Or was it Estrada? I think it was Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski had 2 RBIs in the 5th, and Estrada had 1. Yastrzemski adds another in the 7th, made a 4-0. Lamonte Wade Jr. knocks in Yastrzemski to make it 5 in the 7th inning. And the Mets' lone run came in the 9th inning on a fielder's choice by DJ Stewart. Starting pitcher for the Giants, Logan Webb. The dude's a buzzsaw. I mean, he was coming in super hot and just like a hot knife through butter. With ease through the Mets lineup with ease, and he goes 8 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and like 10 million groundouts. The Mets were just trying to lift it just to do anything. All those groundouts. It just and that's what he does when he's on. That the announcers, again, it's a game that I listen to. Like the announcer said, when he's on, a lot of ground balls. Dude was on. Now he has a 19-inning scoreless streak going. So good for him. Good for Logan Webb. Looking at some Mets here. Starling Marte was 3 for 4 Alonso was 2 for 4 a run. Beatty was 1 for 4. Jeff McNeil was 2 for 4. Severino was a starting pitcher, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks, 91 pitches. He takes the loss, 2-2. Now that goes down as a quality start, going 6 innings and giving up 3 runs or less. So that's not terrible. It's got to get that offense going. Like I said, the offense has been so inconsistent, and it seems like when they score 6 or more runs, I think they win. I don't know what their exact record is on that, but so the magic number for the Mets offensively is get to the 6 runs and you win. So there you go. Easy as pie, right? Drew Smith pitched, inning, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. And Jake Diekman, 1 inning pitched, 2 strikeouts. So tough day for the Mets there. And snaps that series winning streak. That's a bit of a bummer. But you move on. Move on to the next. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's a long season. There's a lot of ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and you got to deal with them. You have to when you're bleeding, you have to figure out how to stop that bleeding, and when you're going good, you have to figure out how to keep it on a roll. So hopefully the Mets can figure out how to stop the bleeding tonight or today, this afternoon. I think the start time is 3:45. We're gonna have Sean Manaea versus Blake Snell, and Snell has struggled. He's 0-3 with 11.57 ERA, 12 strikeouts, 5 walks, and a 1.97 WHIP. And his last time out, he gave up, I think it was 5 earned runs against the Diamondbacks, but the Giants lost that game 17-1. So I think that's the largest victory in Diamondbacks history, which isn't a very big history, but still, it's their history. And so Snell is. He's struggling. That's what happens. You don't sign anywhere. You don't get a spring training. And you come into the season and you look like dog shit. It's much like football. You have those guys that hold out. They hold out through mini camps. They hold out through preseason stuff. And then they sign right before the first week of the season. And they end up looking like dog shit. Because they had no preseason, no mini camps. And like, what do you expect? What they should have did, I mean, I don't remember how much his contract was for, but it's not nearly what he wanted. They should have just threw his ass down in the minor leagues for a month, to be honest with you. 0-3, 11.57 ERA for Blake Snell. Shit. Just put him down in AAA for a month until he's ready, then bring him up. That's what they should have did, but that's what they should have done, I should say. So looking at stats, I'm not going to do everybody's stats, just some of the everyday guys. This is the season so far. Brandon Nimmo's hitting 193. Not going well. He started off cold, hit a little bit of a heater there, and now he's back to being cold again. 193, 2 home runs, 15 RBI, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 stolen base. His OPS is 681. It's a 356 on base percentage and a 325 slug. Starling Marte, 305, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 4 doubles, 6 stolen bases. Good to see him stealing bases. An 820 OPS, 347 on base percentage, a 474 slug. Francisco Lindor, 174. It looked like he was starting to snap out of it, but he's kind of, against the Giants there, kind of cooling down a little bit. But I have no doubt that as these next, I wouldn't be surprised if by next week we're talking about it. Next Wednesday we're talking about how Lindor's hot. So he's swinging the bat well. He's going to start finding holes, and balls are going to start dropping for him. 174, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 3 double, a stolen base, a 538 OPS, 267 on base, and a 272 slug. Not very good. Alonso, 264, 7 home runs, 12 RBI. 3 doubles, 864 OPS, 337 on base, and a 527 slug. We need to get guys on in front of him so he get those RBIs up. He's got a lot of solo home runs here in the early going. Brett Beatty, hitting 268, 1 home run, 9 RBI, 1 double, 649 OPS, a 325 on base, and a 324 slug. I was expecting a little bit more pop out of Brett Beatty so far. this season, but so far we haven't gotten it. But he's hitting the ball, and he was out for a couple games with that tight hamstring, so he's back in the lineup, which is good to see. And playing decent defense. And so let's see. Hopefully he gets that bat cooking again and starts hitting for a little bit more pop. Jeff McNeil starting to hit a little bit better. He's hitting 257, 1 home run, 6 RBI, 5 doubles, 1 stolen base, a 710 OPS, 345 on base, and a 365 slug. Harrison Bader, starting to cool down over the last couple games here, but he was hot there for a little bit especially against the Pirates and I guess the Dodgers. I don't know. Anyway, 294, 1 home run, 6 RBI, 2 doubles, 4 stolen bases, 692 OPS, a 324 on base, and a 368 slug. And then DJ Stewart, 190 average, 3 home runs, 11 RBI, 2 doubles, stolen base, 816 OPS, a 364 on base percentage, and a 452 slug. So for a dude hitting 190, a 364 on base percentage is awesome. That means he's getting on base through walks and hits. So, yeah, he keeps finding his way on base, putting the ball in play. He'll be fine. He's been hitting the ball very, very well recently. I know early in the season when things were going bad, I said he's just a skinny Vogelback right now, a skinnier Vogelback, which if you watch the games, DJ Stewart's a little bit thick himself, just not quite as thick as what Vogelback was. But he's doing well. He's like I said, he's putting the ball in play, and he's getting on base through walks and stuff like that. So, just keep doing what he's doing, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him with JD. I did it last week. All last week, I thought about it after I got off. I went off the air. I must have called JD Martinez DJ Martinez like 100 times last week. So, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do with DJ Stewart when JD Martinez comes back, and he should be coming back this Friday, from every report that I've been hearing anyway. So looking at the starting pitchers, Jose Quintana through 5 games is 1-2, a 4.21 ERA. 20 strikeouts, 14 walks. I don't like those walks. Got to get them down. 1.60 whip. That's 25 2/3 innings. Severino, he's pitched 5 games. He had 2 quality starts, 2-2. 2.67 ERA, 26 strikeouts, 9 walks. 1.26 whip in 27 innings pitched. Sean Manaea, 4 games started. Like you said, he's starting today, this afternoon. 3:45, I believe the start time is. 1 quality start, he's 1-1, 4.12 ERA, 21 strikeouts, 10 walks, 1.37 whip in 19 2/3 innings. So hopefully he has a good start today. Jose Butto through 3 games, 3 starts, 2 quality starts. He's 0-0, 1.65 ERA, 21 strikeouts, 9 walks, 1.04 whip, and that's in 16 1/3 innings. And Adrian Hauser, 4 games started, 0-2, is 7.45 ERA. That's rough. This is even more rough. 12 strikeouts, 14 walks. That's a terrible ratio. 1.76 whip in 19 1/3 innings. We got a comment here from Yuki Matsui. What's up, Yuki? Hump day! Yes, it is. Yuki says, hump day. We need Trevor Bauer on the Mets. He would be our ace. I thought innocent until proven guilty. I mean, and so I guess, to be honest with you, Yuki, I'm on your side. I mean, the dude that appears to be humbled, something fierce. He's lost a lot of money. His name has been dragged through the mud. But I don't know what else he has out there. I don't know. I know there's like 1 or 2 girls that have been accusers, I should say, that have been proven to be false, made up, and pretty much that's what got him kicked out of the major leagues for, I think, was it a year suspension or whatever it was, and just pretty much tarnished his reputation. But also, I don't know if I talked about it on here last week or not, or if it was at work we were talking about it. But the guy was a bit of a douchebag to people, on his team, teammates and coaches and stuff like that throughout his career. So I think that hurts him a little bit too. But I'm 100% with you. Innocent until proven guilty. But I know he does have a couple more accusers out there, and which he's saying they're all false accusations. He's countersued and all that good stuff. But I mean, that's going to follow him no matter where he goes. That label's going to follow him as a I don't know, a sex offender or whatever. I don't know, but it's going to follow him around, even if he is innocent. That's just what happens, and it's a damn shame too, because you're right. If he was pitching, he would be our ace right now. If the Mets were to go out and sign him, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to have to be a team. And I do think he's going to get signed this year. I think it's going to be around the All-Star break sometime, because there's going to be a desperate team that's either a fringe playoff or a team that's holding on to like a division lead that loses a really good starter. I think that's what it's going to take, and they're going to get him super cheap. And he even said as such in interviews. He said he'd re-sign for the league minimum, veteran minimum, whatever that is. He just wants to play. He wants to start. He said this is his passion. It's all he's done his whole life. And he had it taken away from him from false accusations. And you got to feel for the guy. I mean, if they're we don't know if they're all false, but the ones that are the ones that brought him down, actually, they were proven to be false. I mean, it's like, so, I mean, it's a shame for him. And again, there is a couple more accusers yet, so we don't know exactly the whole story yet. But maybe once they're cleared out, once they're, if they come out to be proven to be false as well, or whatever, or the judgment goes in his favor, does he then get signed by a team, or does he finally get that stigma, I don't know, wiped away, I guess, or clean from his name? I don't know. It's tough to say. It's somebody that goes to jail. For instance, whether it's like a relative or a friend or whatever, and every time you see them after that, after they get out of jail, they're in jail for a month or 2 months or whatever it is, nothing serious. But there's always that stigma. Then they were locked up, they were in jail, and all the jail jokes and stuff like that. But that follows them around. They've learned their lesson or whatever. Nothing serious, but that's still, it's a stigma that's going to follow them around. It's the same thing with him, which is a more serious thing if proven to be true. But even if they're proven to be even if he's proven to be innocent, it's still going to follow him around. And so you're going to need an owner. You're going to need an owner that, one, doesn't care what media or fans or the experts out there. You have to find an owner that doesn't care what they think. That's one part of it. An owner with a little bit of testicular fortitude. So who knows who's out there? I don't know. But I'm telling you, I really think that he's going to get signed. It's going to be around the All-Star break, and we're around the trade deadline, somewhere around there. And it's going to be a team that's a fringe playoff team. It feels like he can get them over the hump. We're a team that's either leading their division or close to the leading division, that either loses a starter or they feel like that he can take them to the next level. Because everything you see, everything you hear about him, he's hasn't lost anything. So I wish it was the Mets giving him the look, but I don't think it will be. Because I really feel like with him, Severino pitching the way he's been pitching, Quintana, being a solid 4, you get Senga back. If he comes back the way he pitched last season, that's a decent 1-2-3 right there. It would be Bauer, Senga, Severino, and then probably Quintana, then Minaya, or Minaya Quintana. And then if you go for the sixth man, I would probably go Budo. A sip of iced tea for the working man, baby, and the working ladies. Next comment says, Yuki says, we need to drop Lindor out of third in our lineup. He is terrible. It's almost like one of those things. Like, do you let him kind of work through it, and how long do you let him try to work through it before you do move him? Sometimes you move a guy from third to sixth, or something like that, or third to seventh. It's almost, I don't want to say it's a wake up call, but it takes a little bit of pressure off of them. And sometimes they can break out of it. But then when do you move them back up, and how long do you leave them back up there? Then if they start struggling again, you drop them right back to sixth or seventh again. I don't know. Who do you move up in that third spot? Do you bump Marte back to third, and maybe move like a McNeil up, or somebody like that? I don't know about a Beatty. I would say I would want somebody that's getting on base and putting the ball in play. And McNeil's been putting the ball in play a lot recently. So I don't know if you go McNeil third or McNeil second, drop Marte back to third. Maybe move Nimmo out of the leadoff spot. I don't know, because he hasn't been doing a whole lot recently. It's not just Lindor. There's a couple guys. And the offense is so inconsistent right now. Like I mentioned early in the show, beginning of the show, we get the top half of the lineup going 0 for 12 or 0 for 16. But the bottom half is, 6 for 12, 6 for 16, knocking the runs in, winning the games. And then in the next game, it's the opposite. The top of the lineup's getting on, hitting, knocking people in, and the bottom lineup isn't doing dick. So it's very inconsistent right now. I think once we find a nice consistency through the lineup, I think we'll do much better. And it doesn't help with the injuries that we've had. It's something I wanted to talk about. Like Beatty was out for a couple games, not too long. He comes back, and he needs to find himself again and get back onto the role that he was on. And then Francisco Alvarez tearing that ligament in his thumb. That's a huge hit. Not only offensively, potential offensively, because he's been struggling a little bit recently, but defensively, Omar Narvaez is not it, man. The dude is not it. I said it last year, and I said it coming into this season. If there's any way we can just dump him off somewhere, I would have been fine with it. But with him being out, you call up Tomas Nido. Now Tomas Nido is a better defensive catcher than Omar Narvaez, but he's not as good as Francisco Alvarez is. Alvarez is that's anyway. But Nido is decent defensively. He actually threw out the Mets' first runner stealing, for this season. The first runner thrown out stealing second base, and I think that's like out of 25 chances. And like I mentioned before, that's not all on Francisco Alvarez. The pitchers are not doing a very good job holding runners, mixing up timing or mixing up from mound to home. So they need to do a better job than that to help these catchers out with the guys stealing. So Narvaez is not it. I would be totally fine if they brought somebody up from the minors. I don't know who. Parada. I don't think he's ready yet. I'm not 100% sure who else is down in the farm that would be ready. But I'd drop Narvaez down AAA, bring somebody else up, and be done with it. So his bat isn't all that great. Defensively is terrible. So that's a huge hit. And Brooks Raleigh getting hurt as well. Now bullpen. He's been super hot for us so far in the beginning of the season. Him being hurt, that's a hit. But it's one of those things. I think it's they said it 2 weeks. It was shoulder soreness, and you figure 2 weeks, but that could turn into 3 weeks. You come out back from 2 weeks, kind of got to stretch yourself back out again because you're resting. You're not out there really throwing. So So that 2 weeks almost turns into 3 weeks. But it's a good thing that it's not anything long term. He had an MRI. They didn't see anything wrong, anything structural, nothing. Besides just some soreness. So that's good news out of the bad news part of it. But still losing him out of the bullpen is big. The Mets did DFA Tonkin again. I feel bad for the guy. They DFA'd him before, and he had an apartment in New York and everything. And they DFA'd him, and I guess he didn't get claimed. I think he accepted the DFA, and then he was traded to the Twins. And the Twins, so then he's getting all this stuff delivered to Minnesota, from New York. He he ended his lease on his apartment in New York and everything. Well, then the Twins, it's not funny, but it is. The Twins release him, DFA him, and the Mets end up picking him up again. And he ends back up in New York, and he doesn't even have all of his stuff with him. And now the Mets DFA him again. So if I'm Tonkin and I don't get claimed, I accept the assignment to say I'm not moving anywhere else. This is it. Once my stuff finds its way here, I am not being DFA'd again. I don't give a shit. So I feel bad for him, but I don't feel bad for him. So Stacy Baker checking in. What's up, Stacy? She says, "Good morning, Bat Cavers." Good morning, Stacy. How you doing? Getting ready for that NFL draft, are you? See what those Giants do. Curious. I don't know. Are they going to take a quarterback, or I think they should take offensive line, in my opinion. But I don't know their team inside and out either. So, all right. So back to the stats. Looking at the bullpen, Jorge Lopez, 12 games pitched, 11 2/3 innings, 1.54 ERA, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, and a 1.03 WHIP. He's been really good. Reed Garrett, 6 games, 10 2/3 innings, 0 ERA, 5 hits. He has given up some runs, but they weren't earned runs. 21 strikeouts and 3 walks. Fantastic. Reed Garrett has been just amazing so far. Hopefully he keeps that. He can continue that throughout the season. 0.75 WHIP. Adam Ottavino, 8 games, 8 1/3 innings, 2.16 ERA, 14 strikeouts, 0 walks. Awesome there. He got knocked around a little bit in the beginning of the season, but he's really settled down nicely. 0.48 WHIP. Edwin Diaz, 8 innings pitched, or 8 games, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 1.17 ERA. The run he gave up was a solo home run. Who was that against? Was that against the Reds? But yeah, it was a solo home run in the 9th inning, and he was still able to get the save in that game. 12 strikeouts, 4 walks, 0.78 WHIP. Drew Smith, 10 games, 10 innings pitched, 2.70 ERA, 11 strikeouts, 7 walks, 1.70 WHIP. Brooks Raleigh, before he got hurt, 8 games, 7 innings pitched, a 0 ERA. He's been phenomenal. Only 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, 3 walks, 0.71 WHIP. And Jake Diekman, 9 games, 8 innings pitched, 3.38 ERA, 12 strikeouts, 5 walks, a 0.88 WHIP. So that's what we got stat-wise. So looking at standings, we got the Braves leading the NL East in this early part of the season. We're only 22 games in, 23 games in, depending on where you're at. Braves are 16-6. Philly right behind them, 15-9, 2 games back. The Mets are 12-11 after dropping 3 in a row. They're 4.5 back. Washington, the old Nationals, they're 10-12, 6 games back. Feisty Nationals. And the Miami Marlins, 6-19, 11.5 back. And they have officially been eliminated from any playoff contention. At least in my book, anyway. All right, so looking at who's next, coming up next. Real quick before I do that, right now we're sitting at 114 live viewers. Majority of them appear to be from X, the old Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You can now comment from X. You double click the live feed, and their comment section should pop up. So, if you're watching, from X, throw your comments out, whatever it is. I'll read it on air, give you a shout out. If you want to say, "Hey, Bat Fry, you suck ass. Why are you doing this? You're an idiot." I can't say I disagree, but I'll read it on air, and we'll go from there. 116 live viewers. Thank you to everybody for checking the show out. So looking at who's next, we got the Cardinals coming up next. They're actually in the basement in the NL Central, which is kind of surprising. I thought they'd be again early on, but I thought they'd be a little bit better. So looking at today, 3:45, you have Shamanai versus Blake Snell. Snell's 0-3, 11.57 ERA, 12 strikeouts, 5 walks, and 1.97 WHIP. Friday, so we have a day off after today's game. Fly back east for a homestand. We play the Cardinals. Open up a set with the Cardinals. It'll be Jose Budo versus Miles Mikolas. He's 1-3 with a 6.49 ERA, 20 strikeouts, 7 walks, 1.52 WHIP. Saturday, it's Adrian Hauser against Sonny Gray, one of the big offseason acquisitions for the Cards. He's 2-1, 1.04 ERA, 23 strikeouts, 1 walk, 0.87 WHIP. He's been phenomenal so far. Sunday, Jose Quintana versus Lance Lynn. He's 1-0, 2.81 ERA, 26 strikeouts, 10 walks, 1.36 WHIP. After that, we open up a 4-game series with the Cubbies. The first 2 games, I'll read the starters because the next 2 games will be on next week's show. So Monday against the Cubs, it's Severino versus Taillon, Jameson Taillon. He's 1-0, 1.80 ERA. He only pitched 1 game so far. 4 strikeouts, 0.60 WHIP. So yeah, he's only had 1 start. I feel like we were in the. I heard his name a lot this past offseason. The Mets were in play for him. Just kind of fell through. And then Tuesday, you have Shamanaya versus Javier Assad. Assad's 2-0, 2.11 ERA, 21 strikeouts, 8 walks, and a 1.03 WHIP. Eileen commented, LOL, at the degradation of myself. So that's what the Mets are looking like. Tough 3-game stretch. You have losing 3 in a row. Hopefully they bounce back today against the Giants and take 1 out of that series and go home on a high and open that series up against the Cardinals feeling better about themselves with a little bit of rest too. And JD Martinez. So reports are that JD Martinez was actually playing in games, hitting in games. He wasn't actually playing in the games because that's DH doesn't do that. They hit in the games. So he was actually hitting for the St. Lucie, Port St. Lucie Mets down there in Florida. And I guess it was it 1 or 2? I guess he got I think 2 games. I think they said a couple games. So now he's flying back up to, I think, Syracuse. I think he's going to play a couple games with Syracuse and then should be on the Mets roster for Friday. Whether or not he starts, we'll see what happens. But that should be a nice lift for the Mets. Where do you bat him in the lineup? And that's something that Yuki Matsui said about moving Lindor out of that 3 hole. To move JD Martinez to the 4, bump Pete up to 3, perhaps, and then Lindor behind JD Martinez. That's a thought right there. I actually like that thought. 100% honest with you. Starling Marte's been hitting so good out of the 2 hole. I'd hate to move him and then have him go into a little bit of a slump. But yeah, so and what do you do with DJ Stewart? Do you send DJ Stewart down? Who do you send down? You have to make room for JD Martinez. I know who I would send down. I'd send Wendell down because just the errors and mental mistakes. His bat isn't all that great either. I'd keep Zach Short up, and yeah, that's. I wouldn't send DJ Stewart down. He's been playing well. You could put him in the outfield. He can platoon in the outfield with Tyrone Taylor and stuff. He even plays a little bit of first base as well. I remember playing first base a little bit last season. So if you had to, if you want to give Pete a day off, which Pete doesn't like taking days off, but if you wanted to, you could always throw him at first base, or even spell JD Martinez. Why JD Martinez would need a day off being a DH is beyond me, but he might need a day off or feeling a little bit sore. His back is hurting again, which is something that's been nagging him the last few seasons. Anyway, I know last year they said he got a cortisone shot as well with the Dodgers. But he was with the Dodgers last year, and then he was, after that he felt good, and he played really well. So Yuki says power ranking Mets are ranked 15 out of 30 teams in Major League. And that sounds about right. I wouldn't put them, much higher than that. If you would, I wouldn't put them much lower than that. They're, when I gave my predictions before the season started, I did say the Mets, between 80, 85 wins, they'd be in the hunt for a wild card spot. But yeah, that's a 500 team, right? 16 out of 30 or 15 out of 30. That's middle of the road, or your 500 team. So yeah, there is potential. Once JD Martinez gets in this lineup, to see this offense maybe start clicking a little bit, where they can go on another run, and you can see that power ranking, rise up. But then you have to look at your starting pitching. What are you getting out of those guys? Will Jose Quintana kind of return to form from last season, where he was going six, 7 innings, most of his starts, 3 earned runs, around there. This year, kind of struggling a little bit with command control, and it's been hurting him. It's been biting him in the butt. Luis Severino, can he keep this up? He's been pitching, really well. His last outing, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. That's a quality start. He didn't get any offensive support. The only clunker that he had that I can remember was the first game of the season, and he ended up, the earned runs. I don't remember how many earned runs he gave up in that first game anymore, but it ends up that they went back and they changed the 1 hit to an error, so that took away half of his earned runs in that game. So that really brought his ERA down. His ERA went from 10,000 to 1,000 or whatever. I don't know. Can he keep this up? Sean Manaea, I think he's been pitching decent. Can he continue that? When Kodai Senga comes back, what's he going to look like? Is he going to be able to pick up where he left off last season? I'm not really sure. How long is it going to take for him to return to form? Tyler McGill, I know he's getting ready. I don't know when he's eligible to come off the injured list, but he's getting closer to a return. David Peterson as well. Who else do we got out there? There's another lad. I can't think of his name. I think it starts with a K. Starting pitching wise, but yeah, a lot of it's going to come down to starting pitching and bullpen. If the starting pitching can stretch their starts out a little bit more, save that bullpen a little bit. That's one of the things that really hurt the Mets last season, in my opinion, was the bullpen was being overused early in the season, and it just bit him in the ass. The bullpen wasn't good. The starting pitching wasn't good until near the end of the season, when they had Lucchesi and Budo. Senga was awesome. Senga was awesome for 3/4 of the season. It was just that first quarter where he struggled a little bit. Bullpen wise, Ottavino struggled. Raleigh looked good last year. I know Drew Smith struggled at times. A lot of what do you call it? A lot of turnover in the bullpen. Some advice T for the working man. Yuki also says, should Mets trade Ryan Clifford and Acuna for Mike Trout? It'd probably take a lot more than that, to be honest with you. Mike Trout, I think, is off to a really good start. And with his injury history, what the hell am I saying? Of course, freaking Mike Trout. I don't know, how old is Mike Trout? Is it, I feel like he's been around for a while, so I'm not really sure uh, his age, but I feel like he might be in his 30s now. I might be wrong. I just feel like he's been around a long time. But I would say, yeah, I would say you'd trade Ryan Clifford and Acuna for Mike Trout. Yeah. I would you, Yuki? Would you pull the trigger on that trade? If it's just is it just Clifford and Acuna, or is there going to be other things, other players like actual major leaguers with that? Guys that are actually up in the show right now, like a Jeff McNeil or a Starling Marte or somebody like that. Would it cost you those guys? So I think it'd be more in Clifford and Acuna. Is he? Are the Angels looking to trade Mike Trout? I mean, I don't know if Mike Trout's looking to get out or not. I mean, if I was Mike Trout, I'd be looking to get out, but he signed a huge contract a few years ago. I know it hasn't gone, particularly well winning wise, but I know him being from Philly. I don't know if he'd even want to come to the Mets. He's a Phillies fan. He's from the Philadelphia. I don't know if he's from New Jersey or from around Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, but he's from that area somewhere. If it's New Jersey or Philly, uh, southeastern Pennsylvania somewhere, or it's southern New Jersey. I think he's from New Jersey. But yeah, I think he's a Phillies fan. And, he's an Eagles fan. So there's a chance that he plays the. Most Philly fans say to me he might play F the Mets card. So, what else do we got here? I think that might be it. Yeah, that's all I can think about. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the catching position. Like I said before, with Alvarez being out, I think 6 weeks is the minimum. I heard this morning on I don't know if it was the Mets pod or if it was Locked On Mets. If it was one of those two shows, I was saying that minimum is like 6 weeks for this type of surgery, and you have to figure after that. That's the minimum. So I think 6 weeks takes you to June. So does he come back in July? Maybe. If the Mets are still hanging around, that's good to get him back. Then, but who knows how he's going to be when he does come back. That's surgery on a ligament. That's a big deal. You're not going to be the same right away. So we'll have to see what happens there. And like I said, hopefully they do something with Narvaez. Find a different route here for the backup catcher. Let Nido be your starting catcher until Alvarez comes back, or until you have a better option anyway, a more viable option. Hell, throw Wendell back there. I guess he's the utility guy, right? He's supposed to do a whole bunch of things. He's a fielder. Throw the gear on, Wendell. Get behind the plate. Yuki says, Mike Trout contract hurts his value. If I were the Angels, I would try to move Trout for anything. I mean, I think any team in this league, I don't know, because like you said about his contract, I don't remember what the exact numbers were, but I feel like it was like, I don't know, 300, 400 million or something like that. The original contract was. I could be wrong. I don't know. So I feel like Bryce Harper's contract was 300 some million. I feel like Trout's was more. But if a team could trade for Trout by just giving up two prospects, Jesus, I couldn't imagine there'd be teams all over the place trying to jump at that. Contenders with money, like the Phillies, they'd throw money at him. The Dodgers, Jesus Christ, the Dodgers would throw, that would take on his contract plus give him another $600 million and defer it until the year 2136. And at that point they'll be giving him $1 million for the next 67 years while his head sits in a jar of formaldehyde. So that I remember it was a huge contract. I don't remember the exact numbers to it or anything like that. I just know it was really big, and that would be a little bit of a stickler. That would kind of narrow your search down for a trade partner, if that's what it came to. Or the Angels might have to eat some of that money as well. If they did make a trade, the Angels take a percentage of that contract and pay for it just to get him off the books. That's always a possibility as well. So, all right, I'm going to do a couple sponsor reads here before I tap out. Getting a little bit tired here. Eyes are getting heavy. I'm ready for bed. All right, I'm going to read the sponsors. We got Jason Fine, Big Al. Jason Fine Law. You can reach attorney Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey. In Cherry Hill, New Jersey, his offices are located at 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. Then in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the offices are located on 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And then in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Head on over to monkeycoldcoffee.com for all your gourmet coffee needs. They have bourbon, chocolate chip infused coffee, toasted coconut rum. They have a medium roast Sumatran blend coffee. They have an organic blended coffee called Perula, Florida, and their newest flavor, Golden Honey Agave. And they're also selling barrel-aged honey at monkeycoldcoffee.com. And be sure to check out their swag shop. They have t-shirts, coffee mugs, tumbler cups, cold brew pitcher, K-cup adapter, and don't forget that sweet Paradise rum cake. That cold brew pitcher, if you like iced coffee or cold brew coffee, it's really easy to use. And, it's just, 24 hours. It doesn't have to sit 24 hours. I let mine sit 24 hours to really make it strong. But I think the recommended time for it to sit is 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours, you'll make it at night, wake up in the morning for work, if you're a day shifter or whatever, a 9 to 5er, and it's all ready for you. So it's super easy to use, super easy to clean as well. I highly recommend it. And their coffee is fantastic. So be sure to check them out at monkeycoldcoffee.com and use that promo code at checkout, OOTB Sports, for 10% off your order. That promo code, once again, is OOTB Sports for 10% off your order at monkeycoldcoffee.com. Got a comment here before I jet. Eileen. Mets on 340. Not bad. No, yeah. So they said last night, afternoon game. I'm like, I'll be sleeping for that one. Again, I like the afternoon games, but I hate the afternoon games because I usually miss them because I'm sleeping. But this one's at 340 because it's out west, 340, 345, whatever it is. So I'll be able to catch most of that. I know my daughter, her junior high team, they're going to watch the varsity team play in a pretty big game today. So I'm also going to go to that game, but I'll be checking the game out on my phone while I'm watching that game. And so I should be able to watch most of that game, if not all of it, and cheer on our New York Mets. I know they're not your New York Mets, Eileen. I know you're a Yankees fan, but they are still kind of your New York Mets. So, all right. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for checking the show out. We have 131 live viewers right now. The majority of them coming from X, a couple from YouTube, and 0 from the Facebook, from the Book of Face. What's going on there? So thank you, everybody, for checking the show out. Thank you to those that commented. And for those that didn't, next time, throw your comments out. Comments, questions, suggestions, whatever. It doesn't have to be New York Mets baseball. It could be anything. We're out of the box. So we'll talk about anything that it could be a movie, for crying out loud. It doesn't matter to me. We'll talk about pretty much anything Batman related. Batman fans out there, throw your Batman questions out. I'll talk Batman all day. So real quick, I got a couple more things to hit off here before I duck out. Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. Be sure to check us out at Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, live streaming 7 days a week. And if you're interested in doing a show, let's say you're an Oakland Athletics team or Las Vegas Athletics, wherever the hell it is, you want to start your own podcast, hit us up. We'll get you into the Out of the Box Sports Network here, and we'll get you all set up, and you can start podcasting in no time. It's a lot of fun, super easy to do, and once you get past those first couple episodes, it's not scary at all. There is sometimes I still get a little bit nervous because I hate screwing up and I hate looking like an idiot, which is par for the course, I guess. And I think that saying applies there. But anyway, also a couple more notes here. We have a new show coming soon, pregame show for Monday Night Football. That's coming soon. That'll be on Mondays, of course, pregame, Monday Night Football, 7:30 p.m. So be sure to look out for that coming up in the NFL season. And be sure to check us out tomorrow night for the Drive live NFL draft. We'll have a couple hosts on. Hosts will be on. They'll be off. We'll be talking NFL draft. That'll be starting at 7:30 tomorrow night. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And I know I'll be on. I won't be on until a little bit later, probably closer to 8:30. My kids, they all have practices, and by the time I get home and eat dinner, I'll probably get ready for work. That way I don't have to rush. But I'll be on a 8:30. We'll see who the Raiders pick up this year, and hopefully it's not a dud, like many first-round picks have been. And the ones that weren't duds, we let go or trade. So, Josh Jacobs, Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper. It is what it is. The life as a Raiders fan. One last comment here before I get out of here. We got Yuki Matsui said, "Did you talk about?" No, I didn't. Thank you. I forgot all about it. The City Connect jerseys. So all right. Here's my thought on the City Connect jerseys. Again, Yuki, thank you for bringing that up. I forgot all about them. So originally, and this happens to me all the time. I guess the older I get, the more gullible. I want to be one of those old people where you have the man from the power company coming to the house, knocking on the door because they want to check the meter in the house. I let them in, and all of a sudden, all my treasure's gone. That's going to be me when I get old. Because I, scroll through the interwebs. There's so many things I'm like, oh wow, I believe that's very believable, and then it's not true. So I've seen so many different versions of this jersey, the City Connect jerseys. I'm like, this is gonna suck. Some of the City Connect jerseys are decent, some of them suck. So I was really worried about the Mets sucking, and they don't suck. I like them. I really do like them. My birthday's coming up in May. I kind of poked Mrs. Fry a little bit. Gave her, my sad puppy dog eyes and showed her my cellular telephone, said, "Mrs. Fry, can you please buy me this for my birthday? I've been a good boy this year." So I do like them. I do like all the added touches that they have to it, like the subway, the purple for the number 7 subway. Under the bill of the hat, they got was it Subway Maps or something like that. The pinstripes, I think it's was it Rail Tracks maybe or something like that. It's a whole lot of really cool things that they added into that I thought was fantastic. I thought it was really cool. So if I don't get one for my birthday, I'm going to buy one anyway. But I'm probably going to order a hat today or tomorrow. I thought I was going to hate them. And as soon as I see them, I'm like, I dig these. I really dig them. I know, like, for instance, the Philadelphia ones. I've been hearing a lot of hate from the Phillies fans about that one. I think they're pretty neat looking. It goes off the city's colors. The city's colors aren't red. The city's colors aren't green for the Eagles. They're like a whatever, powder blue and yellow. that's the city's colors. It's kind of went with that. A lot of different city type stuff. Philadelphia, and I thought they were pretty neat looking. But I like the New York Mets ones even better. I dig the pinstripes. I dig the NYC. I actually dig the purple. I was nervous about it. I was nervous that it was going to be all purple. I was nervous, the letters were going to be all purple, but it's not. It's a nice amount of purple. It's nice accent to it. So I do absolutely like them. Eileen says they are interesting jerseys. And I'm not sure what she means by it. That's a good interesting or a bad interesting or just in the middle. I know a lot of Mets fans are saying that's too much of a play off the Yankees with the pinstripes and whatever. I don't know, but the Mets uniforms do have pinstripes. Sometimes. So Yuki says the Mets City Connect jersey seems to be inspired from the Joker, Gotham. I haven't heard anything to that point, but now that you say it, I could see that from the purple. But besides that, I haven't seen anything else really to connect the two. Yeah, so maybe a little bit, but that's the first I heard of that, which that lend a little bit more coolness to it. Actually, that'd be pretty neat. I know there was some fans that were saying they'd like I think this was on the Mets pod. They were talking about this. They wanted to say Queens instead of NYC. But it's City Connect. It's not Queens Connect. So I get it why they have NYC on there for New York City. But that would have been cool if they would have had some sort of a tie to Gotham. Basically New York is Gotham. For Batman. So yeah, that would have been pretty cool. So yeah, I do like the City Connect jerseys. Let me know your thoughts on the City Connect jerseys. Throw comments on there, and I'll check them out later on. So, all right. So that's all I have for today. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. So yeah. So please like, follow, subscribe, all social media, especially YouTube and X. Like I said, all of our views appear to be coming from X now, which is fantastic. We appreciate it. We also are trying to build up the YouTube page as well. Be sure to check us out tomorrow night for the live NFL draft starting 7:30 p.m. Like I said, I'll be on probably 8:15, 8:30, somewhere in there. But I know Paul Spencer, he'll be kicking it off, and we'll have a couple other hosts on there as well. And we'll be talking NFL football. It's going to be a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun last year, a lot of craziness. So I'm sure it's going to be the same this year. And we had a blast with it. We had a lot of fun with it. So also, I'll be live tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. with Silver and Black Lair LA Kings edition. I'll be talking games 1 and games 2. LA Kings playoff hockey. Game 1 did not go well. Hopefully, game 2 goes much better. And then Friday morning, 10 a.m., I'll be doing the Las Vegas Raiders, Silver and Black Lair Las Vegas Raiders edition. So I'll be talking Raiders draft. We'll be talking what they did in round 1 and what to look forward to in rounds 2 and 3 and beyond. And Saturday night, 10 p.m., Silver and Black Lair. We'll be live at 10 p.m. Talking WWE wrestling. Actually, I don't know if I'll be on this weekend. My niece has her 16th birthday party. I just have to see what time we'll be done that, and we'll figure it out though. So be sure to check us out tonight or tomorrow night. I'm all mixed up now. Tomorrow night, NFL Live draft, 7:30 p.m. That's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, Mets fans, I'm rambling, stuttering. I'm gonna get the hell out of here before I muck it up even more. Thank you, everybody. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday, 10 a.m. to the Bat Cave. Same bat time, same bat channel. Let's go Mets. See you later.